at the same time, I spent a year really heavily focused on one specific topic, which is kind of known as Satan's little season. And I covered it. I wasn't the first person to talk about this, actually. This was actually covered years before me. And I kind of was thinking about it for a long time. And I made my first video on it in October of 2023. And I spent that year just going into it heavily and kind of fleshing it out. And it's a heavy topic. I've done my work. There's a whole playlist dedicated on that on my channel still. I don't talk about it so much these days because a lot of things happened, which made me think I need to perhaps take a back foot on this for now and let other people take over. But that topic, I would say, is something I'm also quite well known for. And it's the idea that we're living in the end of Revelation, not in chapter 13. So we're not waiting for tribulation to happen. That already did happen. And the Millennial Kingdom, 1,000-year physical reign on earth with resurrected saints, already happened. Jesus Christ is still king. He's still won. He's still in control. But the devil is let loose for a short while at the end of that 1,000-year period. He gets locked up at the start of tribulation, and doesn't he? And then it's 1,000 years, That's over now. We are living in the remains of that beautiful world and kingdom that was on the earth. And what has taken over in a very short amount of time, perhaps 250 years, is what we live in today.
Yeah.
And that is the last season of Satan, his last moment before the final great white throne judgment. And his job is to gather an army, the number of the sands of the sea, to go make war with the camp of saints. And I think we're living in that time period. And I think there's been a lot of timeline manipulation, a lot of lies about our history, a lot of cover-ups. I think secret societies, primarily their job is to hide the history and to make a new history and to make a new system, an educational system, a new world that isn't really the world we're actually living in. It's all made through media and books and lies and artwork and magic, to put an illusion over us and make us distracted long enough not to realize that Christ's kingdom was here. And what we're waiting for is the new heaven and earth at the end of time. So I don't think our blessed hope has been taken away. I don't think the mandate for Christians has changed to go and make disciples of men. I don't think it changes anything at all. We still have the Gospels. His word goes on forever. Nothing will take it away. And we can still have a relationship with Christ. We're not left behind or anything like that, But there are people who have to live through that time. It's in the book. And it could be us. And it's a time of complete deception. You wouldn't know you were living in it. Right. If Satan's, that's the point of this. It rings true to a lot of people when I talk about these things, but a lot of cognitive dissonance and denial can kick in because you've been taught a lot of stuff by your churches, which, if we're in the little season, are also corrupt and also teaching a false theology and eschatology, which is primarily futurist, dispensationalist, Zionist theology, which is, again, completely false if we're in the little season, and it's forced on you through the seminary schools. So even your pastors and preachers are teaching this theology to you because they were taught to teach it in their schools, which are also corrupt, just like every other school institution is corrupt, secular or religious. It doesn't matter. It gets big. As you can tell, this goes on and on and on, and I can go on for hours about this. And I did many presentations. I went on massive platforms discussing this and just explaining the evidence we do have, using scripture to back it up as well. This is all scripturally grounded. So I did talk about that for a long time, and I kind of got obsessed with it, and I indirectly became a leader of it. Not the only person, the only person. There was other people, big names, and I was one of them. And it got to the point where it seemed like the movement was going in a very strange direction. People were trying to make churches based on this idea. And I can't get on board with that. I think the last thing Christianity needs is another bloody denomination. I cannot. We do not need more denominations being made in Christianity. I thought it's an interesting idea. Let's talk about it. Let's flesh it out. I don't want to start a cult over this, but other people had different ideas, rolled with it, took it with their own direction, took what I said and perhaps made something completely massive out of it. And I think people were treating me strange because of it, and I didn't like the way it was going. And my family started getting attacked. I started getting attacked by other Christians who wanted to, I think, own the movement. I don't think they liked that I was so popular, and they wanted to. It got really weird, honestly. And people don't know this because they're not living my life. You know, they don't see the things that go on behind the scenes and what other channels are doing. And not only was that happening, but also a rise of Christians were also attacking us because they thought we were preaching the doctrines of devils, and a lot of that heat started coming on us as well. But they could never do anything to actually debunk the idea because it's biblical. They just didn't like it, so they said, "No, it's not." That's basically their entire argument, you know. And it's kind of okay, whatever. Basically, yeah. But it was ramping up, and even that was a fear. But the biggest fear was coming from inside the movement for me. The sharks and wolves were circling. I think a lot of charlatans were seeing a money-making ploy here. I think a lot of people wanted to make a movement out of it that they could monetize and control in their own way. I think the whole thing was getting very weird. Yeah. And I decided, and me and my wife decided, it's kind of, no, we're out. We're out. We can't keep doing this. The channel's losing its focus. It's not a little season channel. It was just one topic we were looking into because we want to understand conspiracy. So we had to, I remembered who I was, you know. I'm still a Christian truther, and we cover everything on this channel,